Hello, Plant Life people. How are you? I hope everyone's doing fine today. We have a bit of rain here where I am, but that's what springtime is all about. Um, Today we have another really awesome recipe. This is sort of like a restaurant classic meal that I used to order like pretty much every time I went to a restaurant. So I wanted to share it with you, and we're using like a really cool ingredient this time. And so I'm also excited to show that to you because we've never cooked with it before. So again, my channel, these demos are meant to show you how delicious, easy, cheap, and mostly healthy, well, pretty much always healthy, vegan cooking is. And today I'm really excited because we are going to make um, unchicken Caesar wraps. So that's something that was my go-to meal every time I went to a restaurant, some sort of wrap with chicken, which I don't eat chickens anymore. So what do you make it with? And you make it with something that's really funny looking, and it's called a king oyster mushroom. Look at this guy. So these are called king oyster mushrooms. These are technically baby king oyster mushrooms, but they come pretty big, and they are a wicked meat substitute if you're actually looking to substitute meat if you're just going vegan, and they're just delicious in general because they have a really awesome texture, and they also have they shred up really easy to make different recipes. So today I'm going to show you how to make some faux or non-chicken pieces with these mushrooms. And then I'm also going to show you how to make an amazing Caesar salad dressing, which you can use in wraps or on actual Caesar salad, or for dips or anything. And I'm not sure if she's here, but a big shout out to my friend Courtney in Nova Scotia who sent me this recipe. And I tried it on the weekend and I thought it was so good that I wanted to make it for you guys. So we can go ahead and get started. So these king oyster mushrooms, you're actually going to cut off the tops because they don't, you could cut them up and use them as well, but I just take the tops off and use them in a different recipe when I just need a few mushrooms. Oh, Courtney's here. Yay, she's here to watch me make her recipe. So then you have the little pieces and you want to shred it up. You can use a fork, but when I was using a fork to kind of shred them up, I just found that a little bit too annoying. So I actually just put a knife in the middle and you can pull it apart. And then you want to break it up into pieces. So you can actually get them in nice little strip pieces. But when I did this recipe, they do dry up when you bake them a lot and the volume goes way down. So this time I tried to make them in bigger pieces. So you want to keep them, if your piece is big, maybe go half or a quarter of the entire mushroom. So you want to just keep breaking it up like that. So let's do a few of these so you can see what it looks like. So I'm using just one package today. You can get them at most grocery stores. So we're going to take the tops off again and keep them. And then you just want to put your knife in and sort of break them into pieces. Again, I suggest keeping them fairly big because otherwise the tiny pieces just shriveled right up when I made it. So there you go. So we're just breaking, you can just break it off with your fingers. It's super easy. There we go. So I'm just making one package, but if you want, that's pretty much enough for one person for what we're doing here. So I'm going to end up doing two for both me and my partner here. So we've got them all in pieces. So that's what it looks like. So now we have all of these cool pieces of mushroom ready to go. We got to season them. So let's get them in a bowl. So you can see all the little pieces. I'm losing them all over the place. And then what we're going to season these with, if you have it, if you find a special vegan sort of no chicken broth powder, try to zoom in on this. So my dad, who's in the chat there, got this for me, and it is uncanny and almost gross how chickeny this is. If you have something like this, do it. If you don't, I'll show you the rest of the seasonings that I'm using, and it tastes just as good, especially if you're putting it in a recipe. So I'm putting it in a wrap. You're going to get the flavor off the wrap and the topping. So this isn't as important, but if you have it, it's kind of a nice touch. When I made these on the weekend, I think we put them in a butter chicken, and so you don't taste the flavor, but this is amazing stuff. So it's awesome. Oh, and I see someone in the chat is ordering a huge box of mushrooms. So yeah, these mushrooms are really great for a meat substitute. I love them. So definitely try this recipe when you get that. I love mushrooms. I would love to get a big box of mushrooms, but I would be the only one eating them. So what we're going to season this with on top of our cool unchicken broth is garlic powder, oregano. I have smoked paprika, or you can use regular paprika, and then we've got salt and pepper. And you can drizzle them with oil, but I'm just going to use my little sprayer, kind of spread them out so you can get, probably be easier on a plate, but I have a bowl going here. So let's just spray these down a little bit. Oh, someone's mentioning lion's mane mushrooms. I've never actually even seen those. So we'll spray these down. Mushrooms are very absorbent. So even when you wash them, like I had a tip from a friend to wash them with a tissue or a cloth because they really absorb the water. So let's season these out. And you want to, because we just sprayed them with oil, you want to really evenly distribute your seasonings instead of just dumping them on, or else you get all your seasonings stuck on one mushroom, which sometimes that's nice. It's like when you get the bag of chips and you get that one chip with all the seasoning on it. That's kind of like the special chip. But we're trying to make a nice meal here. So we've got our chicken broth, our vegan chicken broth. We've got our garlic powder. We're going to do a bit of oregano. And I'm apologizing because I am not measuring anything. That is not my usual MO, just not to measure. Now we've got our smoked paprika here. Again, regular paprika is fine, and literally any other seasoning. So if you're doing sort of like, maybe you're doing a Greek wrap, you get more Greek flavor in here. You can do whatever you like. So there's our pepper and our salt. And let's just mush them up. And these are really forgiving, so you can really smush these flavorings in. And then I notice I always have I always have extra bits of flavoring at the bottom. You can just spritz it with more oil and really get them down. But you don't need the oil to cook it. You don't need the oil to make it crispy. You just need to get it to stick to everything. And then, look at that. So this, I feel like I could just eat these raw. It looks so good. So then you have your little pieces, your unchicken pieces. So what you want to do is put these in 350. I think I did them at 375. My oven's kind of weird. And then I did them for 20 minutes and then check them. And you can get them really nice and crispy where they're sort of burnt and crisp on the ends. But if you prefer to have a little bit of a texture to them, you can leave them a little bit less, but at least 20 minutes. And then I would add 10 minutes until you get the texture that you like. When I first did them, I did them for the full cooking time, and I found them a little bit too burnt up. So you would put them on a cookie tray and go ahead and bake them. So we're going to put those aside because we have TV magic going on. Ta-da! So when they come out cooked, you can see the volume has gone down, but the texture of these is just amazing. So I did these pretty light cooked, but you want to make sure you can cook them crispy if you like. And I'm going to see if I can get this focus for you guys. Oh, come on, camera. Anyway, you get the idea. They're very good texture. And so that's what we're going to do. This mushroom really gives that fleshy texture, which is good in your mouth, but it's not flesh, it's mushroom. So that's what you have left for your meat. So now we're going to have to make our amazing sauce. So this Caesar dressing recipe I actually got from a blog called Rabbit and Wolves, which I always talk about. It's amazing recipes. And I usually make it with their Caesar pasta salad, which is a Caesar salad with pasta in it, which is amazing stuff. So I'm just going to wash my hand here and rinse that off. So we'll make our sauce and then we'll put our wraps together. But again, this mushroom recipe, you can use in any recipe where you need sort of like a chicken substitute. So you could make a Caesar salad with chicken on it. You could have it with just on rice plain if you want a little bit more of a light meal. But I wanted to do a Caesar wrap because before we get to the sauce, I've never found these before, and I found them in the store on the weekend for a different recipe. And I was so excited. So I actually found, I don't know why, I've never seen these burrito size giant wraps. I have never seen this brand have these, and this is my favorite brand because most of their stuff is vegan. So then I thought I have to do a Caesar wrap with this mushroom recipe. The other recipe I did on Monday was barbecued jackfruit quesadillas, and jackfruit is another thing you can do with this recipe. So you get canned green jackfruit in brine, rinse it out really well, shred the pieces up just like we did the mushrooms, season it the exact same way, and bake it the exact same way. I chose to do sort of a pulled faux pork version with barbecue sauce, but you could season it the same way and use it in these Caesar wraps as well. Anyway, that's a lot of talking. Let's get to the sauce. So for the sauce, you're going to need some sort of bullet blender or a smoothie blender. Something like that is always easiest. And then for this, you will need some vegan mayo. So I have Hellmann's, which is my favorite. This is the best tasting one I've had. You can also use silken tofu if you have it, if you want to have like an oil-free version, but we're going to use mayonnaise today. And then, like always, we have our nutritional yeast, lemon juice, and capers. So these are just jarred capers, and this is what gives it that like Caesar flavor. I think it's meant to take the place of what would be like maybe, I think it's anchovies that go in non-vegan dressing. And then usually Dijon mustard. I hate Dijon mustard, so I'm using a sweet and spicy mustard. And then we have a clove of garlic. And usually I would put 2 cloves of garlic, but we're just making enough for this sauce. So let's go ahead and use a clean spoon in the mayonnaise. That's cooking tip number 457. Don't use a dirty spoon in your mayonnaise. So I'm going to probably put just over a quarter of a cup. Let's check this out. You can stop looking at my face. So we're going to put a quarter of a cup of our mayo in. And then we're going to put probably, I'm going to say a tablespoon. Let's do 2 tablespoons. It's a nice flavor, that nutritional yeast. You can never have enough nutritional yeast. And then we'll get our garlic in there. And then we're going to do capers. So I've lost a lot of the liquid out of these capers. But we're going to put about a tablespoon. We're just going to get the flavor. If you do have the brine in it, be careful not to put like all brine because you want to keep that flavor even. You don't want it to overpower. And then we're going to do a big healthy squirt of whatever mustard you choose. If you have some nice grainy brown mustard, that would be really good too instead of the Dijon. And then we're going to do probably a couple teaspoons or at least a tablespoon of the lemon juice. So again, I don't measure. I'm just going to use the lid. And I'm going to probably do 4 is probably just over a tablespoon. So I can tell just from experience that there's not a lot of liquid in that. So I'm also going to add a little bit of water, just a splash, see how far we get. If it's a little bit too runny, you can add more mayonnaise into it. But I think because of all the toppings we're going to have on this wrap, that it's going to be just fine. All right. Here we have a nice little cup. So let's blend this up. And I probably should have used my shorter cup because this is probably going to get messy, but that's what spatulas are for. And I didn't hear any more. I don't see any more in the chat of these lion's mane mushrooms. I wonder what they look like. So if you've already minced your garlic, you don't need to blend this too much. You just want to make sure you get the capers broken up. And then that's it. You've got your Caesar dressing. So this, oh God, so good. So you only need to blend that a little bit. And again, you can keep that. I'll probably use it all on this or put it all on my shirt. Oh my gosh. Live cooking demo. That's what happens. So what I was going to say is that Caesar dressing is amazing. You could quadruple that recipe and keep it in a jar for the week for salad dressings and stuff like that. But I'll probably put a whack of it on this wrap. So let's get rid of this blender here, and we need our unchicken pieces back, and now we're going to try to assemble this thing. So usually Caesar wraps that I remember would have tons of lettuce and cucumber and tomato and things like that, and usually cheese. So we're going to do the same thing. And then I remember always getting them with French fries. I'm not going to make French fries on a cooking demo because that's a little silly, but that's what I would have, and I remember that fondly. So look at this. Oh, it's so big. I love it because we always make small wraps, and then you can you can literally barely fit anything in the wrap. You can't close it, and then it just becomes like a taco, which defeats the purpose of having a wrap. All right, so let's try to do this, guys. All right, so we have our wrap. It's a little oblong. So I have some BioLife provolone. This is a really amazing flavor of vegan cheese. BioLife is awesome. They just recently, I think, started selling in Canada, and everyone's so excited because I believe it might come from the UK, but I always was hearing about it in the UK. So let's put that in on the bottom. And then we'll put a little bit of our sauce because you want stuff to stick. We're just going to layer the sauce on. I love sauce. I can't eat anything without sauce. So then let's put some onion in on the bottom so it sticks. And then same thing with our cucumber. Throw that in there. And I'm trying to stick to like the top so I can like fold the bottom up without stuff rolling out the top. That's always the achievement, right? So we've got our tomato. And then I'm going to put some more sauce on. Let's just dump it. We have a whole container of this. We can use as much as we want. All right, and then I'm going to put the lettuce down one side. That looks like a good amount. And then I'm going to use this whole entire thing in one wrap. This is our huge meal. And it just looks like this stuff. I'm trying out the texture. Let's just stay down here for a minute and talk about the texture of these. So good. Oh, it's amazing. The texture is amazing. Okay, back to this. So we have that here. Let's press it in. And I always do the bottom. I don't know if this is going to be like a contentious issue, but I always do the bottom first. And then I roll the side in and squish it. And then roll it up. And that's where all the stuff comes out the top. Okay. Look at that. That is what I remember, like a true chicken Caesar wrap. You got your red onion, all your fresh veggies, and look at the size of it. It's like a burrito, baby. So good. So good. Look at it. I am excited. I say I'm excited every time, but you can tell I'm really excited. I'm so excited to eat this. Okay. We did our good tuck and roll, somebody said, and now we're going to eat this. I'm going to eat a huge bite. So I can see it. I'm always about having a good bite because you spend so much time making all these flavors. You want each bite to have those flavors and taste delicious. And again, when you're talking about making a really good meal, you want something savory, you want something sour, sweet, salty, whatever the other ones are. So we have all of that in here in these flavors. So we know that each bite is going to be delicious. Because food, does fuel your body, but it also brings you joy. Like burritos. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's do this. I'm going to take a big bite. I took such a big bite, I can't talk. So, the texture for sure is coming through. It's crazy. And again, I've only cooked with these kind of mushrooms my second time, so it's blowing me away. And we've got that smoky flavoring from the smoked paprika on there. And then you have the creamy sauce is really coming through with the garlic. I probably would put more garlic in that and just make it like super sharp garlicky flavor, but look at this business. Ah! I overfilled this wrap, but I did a good job. So that is it, everybody. That is the demo. Again, these are king oyster mushrooms, which we shredded up. We season. You can season however you want. And we bake them probably 375 at least for 20 minutes and then check it out as you go. You can also do the exact same thing with jackfruit. You can use it in a wrap, on a sandwich. You could probably cut that up a little and make like a chicken salad with some mayo. Anything. You can put it on salad for a topping. You can use the salad dressing on a salad. So versatile, this recipe. And then you'll have a whole bunch of mushroom tops to make. Maybe I think we did mushroom stroganoff a few weeks ago. So really good buy to take advantage of those mushrooms, especially when they're in season. If you can get them at like a farmer's market, amazing. But that's it. Try this recipe. Let me know how it goes. If you have a suggestion for something I could make on my demo, put it in the comments. I really love suggestions. It puts me outside my box and I get to try something new. Otherwise, please like this video, share it if you love the recipe. Let me know if you made it. And if you have some extra time, you can help out my channel by staying on YouTube and watching a couple of extra videos, because it'll help that YouTube algorithm show them that my channel is awesome. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for participating in the chat. Bye, plant lifers. Bye.